Hi guys, it's Little Kansas Kitty and I welcome you back to my weight loss surgery channel. I had the RNY gastric bypass surgery on June 25th, 2018, so that was 1 year, 8 months ago. I started off my high weight at 238 pounds. I'm 5'6", I'm 39 years old, and I lost 100 pounds within 9.5 months post gastric bypass. I did create a maintenance range for myself from very early on of where I knew I wanted my body to settle, and that was 7 pounds, 138 to 145. I tend to sit in that higher end of that range between 144 to 145, but I've been there. I've been there for a whole year, for over a year now. Maintenance is awesome. It is the ultimate goal to lose all that excess weight, to hit goal and hang out there and maintain. It's not easy, it's challenging, but it's pretty amazing. This video is pretty much all about my booty, and I did have some revision surgery last week. And before I get there, for those of you that are new here, hey, welcome. I did have plastics 8 weeks ago. I had the excess skin removed from my lower back, just a little bit. That was really bothering me. I also had a little bit of lipo done, which was transferred to my bum, and not much, really not much. They could only, they couldn't find much at the time. So they took out 100 cc's for lipo, transferred it straight to the bum. And so I only got like 50 cc's extra in the bum. And then I did have the implants done as well because I needed it to get the volume back because I lost so much and just had so much loose sagging skin from all of that weight loss. So I had gluteal implants placed subfascial. I honestly don't know the size. I've had several people ask me the size, and my doctor, my surgeon, I don't know if it was the brand that he used, but I did do a little research on my own. He was very moderate. He's very conservative with size. So I just went with the biggest size possible. And I did have the Implantec implant, which is a silicone implant, and I had some projection. And just looking online from what I found, I think I may have only had like 330 cc's on both sides, but I feel like they're bigger than that. So I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. So I'm sorry. I can't answer that question. The implants, everything looks very natural for my body. I'm curvy and I'm really, really happy with the results. I did have an area in the lower part of my bum. And so basically where the implants stop, which is about here, and my loose thighs, I still have problematic areas with my loose thighs. I had a little bit of flatness there, not anymore. But I knew immediately within the first week, I was like, something, like it's not going to drop. It's not going to settle any more than that. And so we were going to wait a few months. I had a surgery date, another earlier revision surgery date popped up, jump right on it, and we did that on Monday. And so basically, before going into it, my surgeon said, we're not going to need much. We just need to get like 20 cc's just to hit that little flat area and just put it in there. So a little bit of lipo, transfer it, and we should be done. 20 cc's on both sides. However, do stay tuned in this video to see how much fat I actually had transferred. Revision surgery is typically done within the office, and it's easy peasy. It is awake surgery, awake, and it's pretty crazy. So as soon as I got to the office, I did it on a Monday afternoon. So I just took a half vacation day, and I was administered medicine as soon as I got there. And so basically they just wanted to make sure that I had something to eat. And yes, I had a protein shake before that. And for those of you that are curious, it was a caramel premier protein. But anyway, I just took my leftover meds that I had from my surgery 8 weeks ago, and they administered it there to me. And basically I just took it at the front desk, and I just kind of was cracking a joke. I'm like, medication time. It just felt funny because, you know, they put them in the little like plastic cups and just watch you take them. And so I had this is a lot, but I had 2 Valiums, 2 hydrocodones, and 1 of my anti-nausea meds. And they could have prescribed those had I needed them, but I still had them left over from surgery because I tried to get off of that, very quickly from my initial surgery. As I was sitting in the waiting room with my mother, I was I was feeling super high. Like, oh my gosh, like that was a lot to put in me. And my mom was so sweet. She was like praying for me that everything would go well. And I was just jabbering and talking her ear off. And then I was pretty much sent back. They wanted me to just go to the restroom real quick. And I went to the restroom, went back, and they kind of had like a little surgery room set up inside the office. It was the surgeon, he had 2 of his nurses there with him, and basically I just got undressed, and the surgeon then used a marker to mark up the areas that he was going to pull fat from and transfer to my bum. And then I laid down awake onto the table, completely naked. They did kind of drape a sheet and tent that over kind of my head. I could still see, and we were at it. So compared to the traditional method of liposuction, which is done in a surgery center where you're completely put under, awake liposuction is you're awake. The patient is awake through the entire process. It's weird, it's crazy, but basically it's less invasive. They use a smaller cannula to poke in and pull out the fat, which results in less bruising and minimal discomfort. You're able to, now I did not do this, but the benefit from having awake liposuction is the surgeon can actually reposition you a lot more and have you stand up if necessary. And so that is kind of a benefit, and it allows the surgeon to be more precise with fine-tuned contouring. Some people are going to find awake liposuction extremely uncomfortable and excruciatingly painful at times too. So basically, while I was laying there, local anesthesia was put into different areas. And I was surprised to find that he used 8 different incision points. And when he was marking me up, he was like really looking to see where he can pull fat. And I think he was just so determined to get as much fat as possible this time around. And so I had kind of interesting, I had 3 areas, like a little cluster right here. So that was an area that he really focused on, the excess skin removal. So I must have still had some fat there. He did have, I think 1 here. So that's 4, 2 real close to where my incision line was in the back, close to my butt crack. So that's 5, 6. And then oddly enough, he did use kind of my inner thighs and pulled a little bit from there. And those are my problem areas where I've got a lot of loose skin. So, and those are actually my most uncomfortable areas this week in terms of healing. Actually, he didn't go into my inner thighs. He went into the bottom of my butt, like where my butt increases. That's where he had 2 incision points on both sides, but I just feel it all in my inner thighs. That's where all my soreness is. But 8 areas that he pulled from. So basically, when you're laying there, you're completely awake. I mean, I was high, I was out of it. I closed my eyes some, and just a lot of casual conversation going on in the waiting room that you're totally aware of. Like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? What are you doing next weekend? Hey, how about them Chiefs? Yeah, I mean, I got to give a quick moment to the Chiefs. Hey, I'm from Kansas City, and the Chiefs won the Super Bowl last weekend. It was 50 years in the making. We've had like a town painted in red. It's been awesome. We had the parade this week, and it it's just been such an amazing time for our community. Anyway, that was a big topic during surgery. We talked about Chiefs a lot, and I'd respond here and there. He basically just told me, if you ever get too uncomfortable, just let me know. And they were constantly checking in on me, and the nurses would come kind of to the front of the table, like over where the tent was, and there was a little window opening, and she just kept checking on me. She's like, "Are you doing okay? Are you doing okay?" So they were constantly making sure I was okay. But local awake liposuction is one of the most craziest, insane experiences I think that I've gone through. I've had revision before, and I don't remember it being like that before when I had my tummy tuck mommy makeover like 8 years ago when I had that revision. But this one, you could actually, those small incisions that he made, you could feel the tube like going in there and just like moving around, and it's just like, it is uncomfortable. It's so weird. And then basically they're like suctioning out fat, which I couldn't see any of this, but I imagine it was probably like hanging there in some kind of sack tube glass, what, I don't know, probably hanging right next to me. So they're like suctioning out this fat. It is crazy because you really feel it. You really feel the entire time. And the whole time while I was laying there, and mind you, my revision surgery was 1.5 hours. I was like, oh my God, I can't wait till it's over. I can't wait till it's over because I'm awake. It's just crazy. And so it is uncomfortable. It wasn't to the point where it was painful, but it's just uncomfortable. And if any of you have had a tattoo before, like especially like a detailed tattoo that can take a few hours, that there is no release. There is no relief. Like every single, needle ink going into you, you feel that the entire time. Like tattoos hurt like hell. And this was basically very similar. Every single poke you could feel the whole time. So you're just like, and I did do breathing exercises. The best thing that I've ever learned from having children and being in labor is breathing, because we tend to just tense up when we're in pain. But the important thing is just to breathe it out, breathe in and breathe out. The surgeon basically took all of the lipo, all of the fat that he removed, and transferred it into those flat areas in my bum region. And I think really kind of worked on just shaping it a little bit more. Like I said, it was 1.5 hours. My initial surgery, my true surgery 8 weeks ago, cost $11,800. This, I did have to pay $300 just for some of the materials and the lipo and everything that was done and being used, which, that was just pocket change compared to the initial cost. And when I got up, when they said, okay, we're done, and they basically put stitches in each of those 8 areas. And when they got up, they were really trying to help me up because, I was so medicated, and they just want to make sure I could be stable and stand up. And I had to, they were helping me stand, but I had to pick my jaw up off of the bottom of the floor. Like when they told me how much CC they got, you're not going to believe this, but they took out 425 cc's. 425 cc's. And I was like, how? I didn't even have that much with my initial surgery. They took out 425 and they ended up inserting 210 on both sides. So let's just say I'm very, very pleased with the results. I am still swollen. My weight is up this week. I was up 8 pounds after surgery, which was crazy, like the next day. And that is all swelling. So swelling is completely natural, completely normal after liposuction, and it's expected. Your body's natural response to injury is to swell because it doesn't know that this was an elective procedure, and it swells in order to heal. Your weight will go back to your pre-op weight within a few weeks, and there's nothing you can do. You just have to let it kind of give it time and let your body heal. They did tell me that I could expect some drainage from the different areas, and I actually didn't have any drainage. And so I had the stitches removed on Friday, 5 days later, and I'm basically to avoid any strenuous exercise for 2 weeks. I am being very disciplined with that order because I'm so happy with the results and them being able to plump up and focus on those flat areas that I'm sticking to it. My doctor said I can go ahead and walk through the neighborhood and do my walking, and I'll probably go ahead and start that this week. I did go ahead and give myself a full week off of that. Work-wise, I took, a half a PTO in the afternoon on Monday. Tuesday, I worked from home. Wednesday was Chiefs Parade Day, so our office was closed since we were real close to the route for that. And then I returned back to work to Thursday. So you can get back. I have to say, I am a little uncomfortable. I am wearing compression garments. I'm not right now during this video, but compression garments are important the coming weeks after revision surgery because they just help with all of the swelling and help kind of compress everything. I've had very minimal bruising, a little bit on my thigh area, and that is really kind of the uncomfortable area that I've had. I am back to square one in terms of no sitting again for 2 weeks. So that's, it's not too bad. As you can see, I'm kneeling right now. I'm using my booty pillow again, pulled it out of the closet to drive. And otherwise I am just laying down and I am allowed to sleep on my tummy or side to side. I have an appointment to follow up in a month, so that's totally doable. I am totally loving my body. I'm loving my booty. I'm loving them in jeans and pants. And that is all I've really worn for the last 8 weeks. And I just tried on, this dress the other day and I was like, dang, I kind of like, yep, I kind of like having a booty in a dress too. So fun. I am just really, really grateful for the ability to have lost the weight, to have these options, to have this plastic surgery option available to me. And I am just, like I said, grateful going into almost 40 years old with just a strong, healthy body. This week, there's a lot of love in the air, a lot of red in our town, a lot of love for the Chiefs. Last night, I had a Galentine's dinner with my running girlfriends, lots of fun. I got to see my man friend. So I'm just wishing you all lots of love, a very happy Valentine's week. And, all we need is love and maybe a little vodka and maybe a little chocolate and a nap. But really, all we need is love.